Hello, I am going to read the last few pages of chapter 13 and I will move into reading chapter 14. I have my old lady glasses on so I can read. So here we go, 50 Shades of Grey, book 2, the last few pages of chapter 13 and chapter 14. It's late and I feel fuzzy. Ethan and I are locked out of the apartment. He insists on walking me back to Escala, but he won't stay. He's called the friend he met earlier for a drink and arranged to crash with him. So, this is where the mogul lives. Ethan whistles through his teeth, impressed. I nod. Sure you don't want me to come in with you, he asks. No, I need to face this, or just go to bed. See you tomorrow? Yes, thanks, Ethan. I hug him. You'll work it out, Steele, he murmurs against my ear. He releases me and watches while I head into the building. Later, he calls. I offer him a weak smile and a wave, and then press the button to call the elevator. I step out the elevator and into Christian's apartment. Taylor is not waiting, which is unusual. Opening the double doors, I head toward the great room. Christian is on the phone, pacing the room near the piano. She's here, he snaps. He turns to glare at me as he switches off the phone. Where the fuck have you been? He growls at me, but doesn't make a move toward me. He's angry with me? He's the one that just spent God knows how long with his loony ex-girlfriend, and he's angry with me? Have you been drinking, he asks. A bit. I didn't think it was that obvious. He gasps and runs his hand through his hair. I told you to come back here. His voice is menacingly quiet. It's now 15 after 10. I've been worried about you. I went for a drink or 3 with Ethan while you attended to your ex, I hiss at him. I didn't know how long you were going to be with her. He narrows his eyes and takes a few paces towards me, but stops. Why do you say it like that? I shrug and stare down at my fingers. Anna, what's wrong? And for the first time I hear something other than anger in his voice. What? Fear? I swallow, trying to work out what I want to say. Where's Layla? I ask, looking at him. In a psychiatric hospital in Fremont, he says, and his face is scrutinizing mine. Anna, what is it? He moves toward me until he's standing right in front of me. What's wrong? He breathes. I shake my head. I'm no good for you. What? He breathes, his eyes widening in alarm. Why do you think that? How can you possibly think that? I can't be everything you need. You are everything I need. Just seeing you with her, my voice trails off. Why do you do this to me? This is not about you, Anna. It's about her. He takes a sharp breath, running his hand through his hair. Right now she's a very sick girl. But I felt it. What you had together. What? No. He reaches for me, and I step back instinctively. He drops his hand, blinking at me. He looks as though he's seized with panic. You're running? He whispers as his eyes widen with fear. I say nothing as I try to collect my scattered thoughts. You can't, he pleads. Christian, I struggle to collect my thoughts. What am I trying to say? I need time. Time to process this. Give me time. No, no, he says. He looks wildly around the room for inspiration, for divine intervention? I don't know. You can't go, Anna. I love you. I love you too, Christian. It's just... No, no, he says in desperation and puts both hands on his head. Christian, no, he breathes, his eyes wide with panic, and suddenly he drops to his knees in front of me. Head bowed, his hands spread out on his thighs. He takes a deep breath and doesn't move. What? Christian, what are you doing? He continues to stare down, not looking at me. Christian, what are you doing? I repeat in a high-pitched voice. He doesn't move. Christian, look at me, I command in panic. His head sweeps up without hesitation, and he regards me passively with his cool gray gaze. He's almost serene, expectant. Holy fuck. Christian? The submissive? Chapter 14. Christian on his knees at my feet, holding me with a steady gray gaze, is the most chilling and sobering sight I have ever seen. More so than Layla and her gun. The vague alcoholic fuzziness I am suffering from evaporates in an instant, and is replaced by a prickling scalp and a creeping sense of doom as the blood drains from my face. I inhale sharply with shock. No, this is wrong, so wrong, and so disturbing. Christian, please, don't do this. I don't want this. He continues to regard me passively, not moving, not saying nothing. Oh, fuck, my poor 50. My heart squeezes and twists. What the hell have I done to him? Tears prick my eyes. Why are you doing this? Talk to me, I whisper. He blinks once. What would you like me to say? He says softly and blandly for a moment. I'm relieved, and that he's talking to me. But not like this. No. No. Tears began to ooze down my cheeks, and suddenly it's too much to see him in the same prostrate position as the pathetic creature that was Layla. The image of a powerful man who is really still a little boy, who was horrifically abused and neglected, who feels unworthy of love from his perfect family and his much less than perfect girlfriend, my lost boy. It's heartbreaking. Compassion, loss, and despair all swell in my heart. I feel a choking sense of desperation. I'm going to have to fight to bring him back to me, bring back my 50. The thought of me dominating anyone is appalling. The thought of dominating Christian is nauseating. It would make me like her, the woman who did this to him. I shudder at the thought, fighting the bile in my throat. No way can I do that. No way do I want that. As my thoughts clear, I can see only one way. Not taking my eyes off of him, I sink to my knees in front of him. The wooden floor is hard against my shins, and I dash my tears away roughly with the back of my hand. Like this, we are equals. We're on a level. This is the only way I'm going to retrieve him. His eyes widen fractionally as I stare up at him, but beyond that expression and stance don't change. Christian, you don't have to do this, I plead. I'm not going to run. I've told you and told you and told you I won't run. All that's happened, it's overwhelming. I just need some time to think, some time to myself. Why do you always assume the worst? My heart clenches again because I know. It's because he's so doubting, so full of self-loathing. Elena's words come back to haunt me. Does she know how negative you are about yourself? About all your issues? Oh, Christian. Fear grips my heart once more, and I start babbling. I was going to suggest going back to my apartment this evening. You never give me any time to just think things through. I sob, and a ghostly frown crosses his face. Just time to think. We barely know each other, and all this baggage that comes with you. I need time to think it through. And now Layla is, well, whatever she is. She's off the streets and not a threat. I thought... My voice trails off, and I stare at him. He regards me intently, and I think he's listening. Seeing you with Layla? I close my eyes as the painful memory of his interaction with his ex-sub gnaws at me anew. It was such a shock. I had a glimpse into how your life has been. And I gazed down at my knotted fingers, tears still trickling down my cheeks. This is about me not being good enough for you. It was an insight into your life, and I'm so scared you'll get bored with me, and then you'll go, and I'll end up like Layla, a shadow. Because I love you, Christian, and if you leave me, it will be like a world without light. I'll be in the darkness. I don't want to run. I'm just so frightened you'll leave me. I realize as I say these words to him, in the hope that he's listening, what my real problem is. I just don't get why he likes me. I've never understood why he likes me. I don't understand why you find me attractive, I murmur. You're you, and I'm... I shrug and gaze at him. I just don't see it. You're beautiful and sexy and successful and good and kind and caring, all those things, and I'm not. I can't do the things you like to do. I can't give you what you need. How could you be happy with me? How can I possibly hold you? His voice is a whisper as I express my darkest fears. My voice is a whisper as I express my darkest fears. I have never understood what you see in me. And seeing you with her, it brought that all home. I sniff and wipe my nose with the back of my hand, gazing at his impassive expression. Oh, he's so exasperating. Talk to me, damn it. Are you going to kneel there all night? Because I'll do it too, I snap at him. I think his expression softens. Maybe he looks vaguely amused, but it's so hard to tell. I could reach across and touch him, but this would be a gross abuse of the position he's put me in. I don't want that, but I don't know what he wants, or what he's trying to say to me. I just don't understand. Christian, please, please talk to me. I beseech him, wringing my hands in my lap. I am uncomfortable on my knees, but I continue to kneel, staring into his serious, beautiful gray eyes, and I wait. And wait. And wait. Please, I beg once more. His intense gaze darkens, and suddenly he blinks. I was so scared, he whispers. Oh, thank the Lord. My subconscious staggers back into her armchair, sagging with relief, and takes a large swig of gin. He's talking. Gratitude overwhelms me, and I swallow, trying to contain my emotion and the fresh bout of tears that threatens. His voice is soft and low. When I saw Ethan arrive outside, I knew someone had let you into our apartment. Both Taylor and I leapt out of the car. We knew, and to see her there like that with you and armed, I think I died 1,000 deaths, Anna. Something threatening you, all my worst fears realized. I was so angry with her, and with you, and with Taylor, and with myself. He shakes his head, revealing his agony. I don't know how volatile she would be. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how she'd react. He stops and frowns. And then she gave me a clue. She looked so contrite, and I just knew what I had to do. He pauses, gazing at me, trying to gauge my reaction. Go on, I whisper. He swallows. Seeing her in that state, knowing that I might have something to do with it, her mental breakdown. He closes his eyes once more. She was always so mischievous and lively. He shudders and takes a rasping breath, almost like a sob. This is torture to listen to, but I kneel attentive, lapping up his insight. She might have harmed you, and it would have been my fault. His eyes drift off, filled with uncomprehending horror, and he's silent once more. But she didn't, I whisper, and you weren't responsible for her being in the state, Christian. I blink up at him, encourage him to continue. Then it dawns on me that everything he did was to keep me safe, and perhaps Layla too, because he also cares for her. But how much does he care for her? The question lingers in my head, unwelcome. He says he loves me, but then he's so harsh, throwing me out of his own apartment. I just wanted you gone, he murmurs, and with his uncanny ability to read my thoughts. I wanted you away from the danger, and you wouldn't go. He hisses through clenched teeth and shakes his head. His exasperation is palpable. He gazes at me intently. Anastasia Steele, you are the most stubborn woman I have ever known. He closes his eyes and shakes his head once more in disbelief. Oh, he's back. I breathe a long, cleansing sigh of relief. He opens his eyes again, and his expression is forlorn, sincere. You weren't going to run? He asks. No! He closes his eyes again, and his whole body relaxes. When he opens his eyes, I can see his pain and anguish. I thought... He stops. This is me, Anna. All of me. And I'm yours. What do I have to do to make you realize that? To make you see that I want you any way I can get you. I love you. I love you too, Christian, and I see you like this. I choked my tears and started anew. I thought I had broken you. Broken? Me? Oh no, Anna. Just the opposite. He reaches out and takes my hand. You are my lifeline, he whispers, and he kisses my knuckles before pressing my palm against his. With his eyes wide and full of fear, he gently tugs my hand and places it on his chest over his heart, in the forbidden zone. His breathing quickens. His heart is beating a frantic pounding tattoo beneath my fingers. He doesn't take his eyes off mine. His jaws tense, his teeth clenched. I gasp. Oh, my 50. He's letting me touch him. And it's like all the air in my lungs has vaporized. Gone. The blood is pounding in my ears as the rhythm of my heart rises to match his. He releases my hand, leaving it in place over his heart. I flex my fingers slightly, feeling the warmth of his skin beneath the thin fabric of his shirt. He's holding his breath. I can't bear it. I make the move to take my hand away. No, he says quickly, and places his hand once more over mine, pressing my fingers against him. Don't. Emboldened by these two words, I shuffle closer so our knees are touching, and tentatively raise my hand so that he knows exactly what I intend to do. His eyes grow wider, but he doesn't stop me. Gently, I start to undo the buttons on his shirt. It's tricky with one hand. I flex my fingers beneath his hand, and he lets go. Allow me to use both hands to undo his shirt. My eyes don't leave his as I pull his shirt wide open, revealing his chest. He swallows, and his lips part as his breathing increases, and I sense his rising panic, but he doesn't pull away. Is he still in sub-mode? I have no idea. Should I do this? I don't want to hurt him physically or mentally. The sight of him like this, offering himself to me, has been a wake-up call. I reach up, and my hand hovers over his chest, and I stare at him, asking his permission. Very subtly, he lifts his head to one side, steeling himself in anticipation of my touch, and the tension radiates from him, but this time, it's not in anger. It's in fear. I hesitate. Can I really do this to him? Yes, he breathes again, with the weird ability to answer my unspoken questions. I extend my fingertips into his chest hair and lightly brush them down his sternum. He closes his eyes, and his face creases as if experiencing intolerable pain. It is unbearable to witness, so I lift my fingers immediately, but he quickly grabs my hand and replaces it firmly, flat on his bare chest, though my hair tickles my palm. No, he says, his voice strained. I need to. His eyes are screwed up so tightly. This must be agony. It's truly tormenting to watch. Carefully I let my fingers stroke across his chest to his heart, marveling at the feel of him, terrified this is a step too far. His eyes open, and they are a gray fire blazing at me. Holy cow. His look is blistering, feral, beyond intense, and his breathing is rapid. It steers my blood. I squirm under his gaze. He hasn't stopped me, so I run my fingers across his chest again, and his mouth goes slack. He's panting, and I don't know if it's from fear or something else. I wanted to kiss him there for so long. I lean up on my knees, hold his gaze for a moment, making my intention perfectly clear. Then I bend and gently plant a soft kiss above his heart, feeling his warm, sweet-smelling skin beneath my lips. His strangled moan moves me so much that I sit back on my heels, fearful of what I'll see on his face. His eyes are screwed tightly shut, but he hasn't moved. "Anna," he whispers, and I lean into his chest once more, this time to kiss one of his scars. He gasps, and I kiss another one. He groans loudly, and suddenly his arms are around me, and his hand is in my hair, pulling my head up so painfully that my lips meet his insistent mouth. And we are kissing, my fingers knotting to his hair. "Oh, Anna," he breathes, and he twists and pulls me down onto the floor, so that I am underneath him. I bring my hands up to cup his beautiful face, and in that moment I feel his tears. He's crying. "No, no! Christian, please don't cry!" I meant it when I said I'd never leave you. If I did, if I gave you the impression, I'm so sorry. Please, please forgive me. I love you. I will always love you. He looms over me, gazing down into my face, and the expression is so pained. "What is it?" His eyes grow larger. "What is the secret that makes you think I'll run for the hills? That makes you so determined to believe I'll go?" I plead with my tremulous voice. "Tell me, Christian, please." He sits up, though this time he crosses his legs, and I follow suit, my legs outstretched. Vaguely I wonder if we can get off the floor, but I don't want to interrupt his train of thought. He's finally going to confide in me. He gazes down at me, and he looks utterly desolate. Oh shit, it's bad. "Anna?" He pauses, searching for the words, expression pain. Where the hell is this going? I take a breath he takes a deep breath and swallows. "I'm a sadist, Anna. I like to whip little brown-haired girls like you because you all look like my crack whore, my birth mother. I'm sure you can guess why." He says in a rush, as if he had the scent in his head for days and days, and is desperate to get rid of it. My world stops. Oh no. This is not what I expected. This is bad, really bad. I gaze at him, trying to understand the implication of what he's just said. It does explain why we all look the same. My immediate thought is that Layla was right. Master is dark. I recall the first conversation I had with him about his tendencies when we were in the Red Room of Pain. "You said you weren't a sadist," I whisper, desperately, trying to understand, make some excuse for him. "No, I said I was a dominant. If I lied to you, it was a lie of omission. I'm sorry." He looks briefly down at his manicured fingers. I think he's mortified. Mortified about lying to me, or about what he is? "When you asked me that question, I had envisioned a very different relationship between us," he murmurs. I could tell by his gaze that he's terrified. It hits me like a wrecking ball. If he's a sadist, he really needs all the whipping and caning shit. Oh fuck. I put my head in my hands. "So it's true." I whisper, glancing up at him. "I can't give you what you need. This is it. This really does mean we are incompatible." The world starts falling away at my feet, collapsing around me as panic grips my throat. This is it. We can't do this. He frowns. "No, no, no, Anna, no. You can. You do give me what I need." He clenches his fist. "Please believe me," he murmurs, his words an impassioned plea. "I don't know what to believe, Christian. This is so fucked up," I whisper, my throat hoarse and aching as it closes in, choking me with unshed tears. His eyes are wide and luminous when he looks at me again. "Anna, believe me. After I punished you and you left me, my worldview changed. I wasn't joking when I said I would avoid ever feeling like that again." He gazes at me with pained entreaty. "When you said you loved me, it was a revelation. No one's ever said that to me before, and it was as if I'd laid something to rest, or maybe you'd laid it to rest. I don't know. Dr. Flynn and I are in deep discussion about it." "Oh." Hope flares briefly in my heart. Perhaps we'll be okay. I want us to be okay, don't I? "What does this all mean?" I whisper. "It means I don't need it. Not now." "What? How do you know?" "How can you be so sure?" "I just know. The thought of hurting you in any real way, it's abhorrent to me." "I don't understand. What about the rulers and spanking, all that kinky fuckery?" He runs a hand through his hair and almost smiles, but instead sighs ruefully. I'm talking about all the heavy shit, Anastasia. You should see what I can do with a cane or a cat. My mouth drops open, stunned. I'd rather not. I know. If you wanted to do that, then fine. But if you don't, I get it. I can't do all that shit with you, if you didn't want to. I told you once before, you have all the power. And now, since you came back, I don't feel that compulsion at all. I gape at him for a moment, trying to take this all in. When we met, that's what you wanted, though. Yes, undoubtedly. How can your compulsion just go away, Christian? Like I'm some kind of panacea, and you're, for want of a better word, cured? I don't get it. He sighs once more. I wouldn't say cured. You don't believe me? I just find it unbelievable, which is different. If you'd never left, then I probably wouldn't feel this way. Your walking out on me was the best thing you ever did. For us. It made me realize how much I want you. Just you, and I mean it when I say I'll take you any way I can have you. I gaze at him. Can I believe this? My head hurts just trying to think this all through, and deep down I feel numb. You're still here. I thought you'd be at the door by now, he whispers. Why? Because I might think you're a sicko for whipping and fucking women that look like your mother? Whatever gave you that impression? I hiss, lashing out. He blanches at my harsh words. Well, I wouldn't have to put it quite like that, but yes, he says, his eyes wide and hurt. His expression is sobering, and I regret my outbursts. I frown, feeling a pang of guilt. Oh, what am I going to do? I gaze at him. He looks contrite, sincere. He looks like my 50. And unbidden, I recall the photograph in his childhood bedroom, and that moment I realize why that woman looked so familiar. She looked like him. She must have been his biological mother. His easy dismissal of her comes to mind. No one of consequence. She's responsible for all this. And I look like her. Fuck. He stares at me, eyes raw, and I know he's waiting for my next move. He seems genuine. He says he loves me, and I'm really confused. This is all so fucked up. He's reassured me about Layla, but how do I know with more certainty than ever how she will be able to give him his kicks? The thought is wary and unpalpable. Christian, I'm exhausted. Can we discuss this tomorrow? I want to go to bed. He blinks at me in surprise. You're not going? Do you want me to go? No, I thought you would leave me once you knew. All the times he's alluded to my leaving once, I knew the darkest secrets flashed through my mind, and now I know. Shit. Master is dark. Should I leave? I gaze at him, this crazy man that I love. Yes, love. Can I leave him? I left him once before, and it nearly broke me. And him. I love him. I know that in spite of his revelation. Don't leave me, he whispers. Oh, for crying out loud, no. I'm not going to go. I shout, and it's cathartic. There, I've said it. I'm not leaving. Really? His eyes widen. What can I do to make you understand? I will not run. What can I say? He gazes at me, revealing his fear and anguish again. He swallows. There is one thing you can do. What? I snap. Marry me, he whispers. What? Did he really just... For the second time in less than half an hour, my world stops. Holy fuck. I stare at this deeply damaged man I love. I can't believe that what he said. Marriage? He's proposing marriage? Is he kidding? I can't help it. A small, nervous, disbelieving giggle erupts from deep inside. I bite my lip to stop it from turning into a full-scale, hysterical laughter and fail miserably. I lie back flat on the floor and surrender myself to the laughter, laughing as I've never laughed before. Huge, healing, cathartic howls of laughter. And for a moment, I'm on my own, looking down at the absurd situation, a giggling, overwhelmed girl beside a beautiful, disturbed boy. I drag my arm across my eyes, and as my laughter turns to scalding tears, no, this is too much. As the hysteria subsides, Christian gently lifts my arm off my face. I turn and gaze up at him. He's leaning over me. His mouth is twisted with wry amusement, but his eyes are burning gray, maybe wounded. Oh no. He gently wipes away a stray tear with the back of his hand. You find my proposal amusing, Miss Steele? Oh, 50. Reaching up, I caress his cheek tenderly, enjoying the feel of the stubble beneath my fingers. Lord, I love this man. Mr. Gray, Christian, your sense of timing is without a doubt. I gaze up at him as words fail me. He smirks at me, but the crinkling around his eyes showed that he's hurt. That he's hurt. It's sobering. You're cutting me to the quick here, Anna. Will you marry me? I sit up and lean over him, placing my hands on his knees. I stare into his lovely face. Christian, I've met your psycho ex with a gun. Been thrown out of my apartment. Have you gone and you have gone thermonuclear. 50 on me. He opens his mouth to speak, but I hold up my hand. He obediently shuts his mouth. You've just revealed some quite frankly shocking information about yourself, and now you've asked me to marry you? He moves his head from side to side as if considering the facts. He's amused, thank heavens. Yes, I think that's a fair and accurate summary of the situation, he says dryly. I shake my head at him. Whatever happened to delayed gratification? I got over it, and now I'm a firm advocate of instant gratification. Carpe diem, Anna, he whispers. Look, Christian, I've known you for about 3 minutes, and there's so much more I need to know. I've had too much to drink, I'm hungry, I'm tired, and I want to go to bed. I need to consider your proposal just as I considered that contract you gave me. And I press my lips together to show my displeasure, but also lighten the mood between us. That wasn't the most romantic proposal. He tilts his head to one side, and his lips quirk up in a smile. Fair point, well made, as ever, Miss Steele. He breathes, his voice laced with relief. So that's not a no? I sigh, no, Mr. Gray, it's not a no, but it's not a yes either. You're only doing this because you're scared, and you don't trust me. No, I'm doing this because I've finally met someone I want to spend the rest of my life with. Oh. My heart skips a beat, and inside I melt. How is it that in the middle of the most bizarre situations, he can say most romantic things? My mouth pops open in shock. I never thought this would happen to me, he continues, his expression radiating pure, undiluted sincerity. I gape at him, searching for the right words. Can I think about it, please? And think about everything else that's happened today, what you've just told me? You asked for patience and faith. Well, back at you, Gray. I need those now. His eyes search mine, and after a beat, he leans forward and tucks my hair behind my ear. I can live with that. He kisses me quickly on the lips. Not very romantic, eh? He raises his eyebrows, and I give him an admonishing shake of my head. Hearts and flowers? He asks softly. I nod, and I give him a slight smile. You're hungry? Yes. You didn't eat? His eyes frost and his jaw hardens. No, I didn't eat. I sit back on my heels and regard him passively. Being thrown out of my apartment after witnessing my boyfriend interacting intimately with his ex-sub considerably suppressed my appetite. I glare at him and with my fist on my hips. Christian shakes his head and rises gracefully to his feet. Oh, finally we can get off the floor. He holds his hand out to me. Let me fix you something to eat, he says. Can I just go to bed? I murmured wearily as I place my hand in his. He pulls me up. I'm stiff. He gazes down at me, his expression soft. No, you need to eat. Come. Bossy Christian is back, and it's a relief. He leads me to the kitchen area and ushers me toward a bar stool as he heads for the fridge. I glance at my watch. It's nearly 11:30, and I have to get up for work in the morning. Christian, I'm really not hungry. He studiously ignores me as he ferrets through the enormous refrigerator. Cheese? He asks. Not at this hour. Pretzels? In the fridge? No, I snap. He turns and grins at me. You don't like pretzels? Not at 11:30, Christian. I'm going to bed. You can rummage around in your refrigerator for the rest of the night if you want to. I'm tired, and I had far too much of an interesting day, and I'd like to forget. I slide up the stool, and he scowls at me, but right now I don't care. I want to go to bed. I'm exhausted. Macaroni and cheese? He holds up a white bowl lidded with foil. He looks so hopeful and endearing. You like macaroni and cheese? You like macaroni and cheese? I ask. He nods enthusiastically, and my heart melts. He looks so young all of a sudden. Who would have thought? Christian Gray likes nursery food. You want some? He asks, sounding hopeful. I can't resist him, and I'm hungry. I nod and give him a weak smile. His answering grin is breathtaking. He takes the foil off the bowl and pops it into the microwave. I perch back on the stool and watch the beauty that is Mr. Christian Gray. The man who wants to marry me moves gracefully with ease around his kitchen. So you know how to use the microwave, then? I tease softly. If it's in a packet, I can usually do something with it. It's real food I have a problem with. I cannot believe this is the same man who was on his knees in front of me not a half hour ago. He's his usual mercurial self. He sets out plates, cutlery, and placemats in the breakfast bar. It's very late, I mutter. Don't go to work tomorrow. I have to go to work tomorrow. My boss is leaving for New York. Christian frowns. Do you want to go there for the weekend? I checked the weather forecast and it looks like rain, I say, shaking my head. Oh, so what do you want to do? The microwave pings, announces that our supper is warmed through. I just want to get through one day at a time right now. All this excitement is tiring. I raise an eyebrow at him, which he judiciously ignores. Christian places the white bowl in between our place settings and takes his seat beside me. He looks deep in thought, distracted. I dish the macaroni out onto our plates. It smells divine, and my mouth waters in anticipation. I'm famished. Sorry about Layla, he murmurs. Why are you sorry? The macaroni tastes as good as it smells. My stomach grumbles gratefully. It must have been a shock for you, finding her in your apartment. Taylor sweat through it earlier himself. He's very upset. I don't blame Taylor. Neither do I. He's not looking for you. Really? Why? I didn't know where you were. You left your purse, your phone. I couldn't even track you. Where'd you go? He asked. His voice is soft, but there's an ominous undercurrent in his words. Ethan and I just went to the bar across the street so I could watch what was happening. I see. The atmosphere between us has changed subtly. It's no longer light. Okay, well, two can play at that game. Let's just bring this back to you. 50. Trying to sound nonchalant, wanting to assuage my burning curiosity, but dreading the answer, I ask, So, what did you do with Layla in the apartment? I glance at him, and he freezes with his fork full of macaroni, suspended in midair. Oh no, that's not good. You really want to know? A knife tightens in my gut, and my appetite vanishes. Yes, I whisper. Do you really? My subconscious has thrown her empty bottle of gin on the floor and is sitting up in her armchair glaring at me in horror. Chris's mouth flattens to a line as he hesitates. We talked, and I gave her a bath. His voice is hoarse, and he continues quickly when I make no response. And I dressed her in some of your clothes. I hope you don't mind. But she was filthy. Holy fuck. He bathed her? What an inappropriate thing to do. I'm reeling, staring down at my uneaten macaroni. The sight of it now makes me nauseous. Try to rationalize this. My subconscious coaches. That cool, intellectual part of my brain knows that he just did that because she was dirty, but it's not too hard. My fragile, jealous self can't bear it. Suddenly I want to cry. Not succumb to ladylike tears that trickle decorously down my cheeks, but howling at the moon, crying. I take a deep breath to suppress the urge, but my throat is arid and uncomfortable from my unshed tears and sobs. It was all I could do, Anna, he says softly. You still have feelings for her? No, he says appalled, and closes his eyes, his expression one of anguish. I turn away, staring at once at more sickening than my food. I can't bear to look at him. To see her like that, so different, so broken. I care about her, one human being to another. He shrugs it off. He shrugs as if to shake off an unpleasant memory. Jesus, he expecting my sympathy? Anna, look at me. I can't. I know if I do, I will burst into tears. This is just too much to absorb. I'm like an overflowing tank of gasoline, full beyond capacity. There is no room for any more. I simply cannot cope with any more crap. I will combust and explode. It will be ugly if I try. Jeez. Christian caring for his ex-sub in such an intimate fashion. The images flashes through my brain. Bathing her? For fuck's sake, naked? A harsh, painful shudder racks my body. Anna, what? Don't. It doesn't mean anything. It was like caring for a child, a broken, shattered child, he mutters. What the hell would he know about caring for a child? This was a woman he had full-blown, full-on, deviant sexual relationship with. Oh, this hurts. I take a deep, steadying breath. Or perhaps he's referring to himself. He's the broken child. That makes more sense. Or maybe it's no sense at all. Oh, this is so fucked up, and suddenly I'm bone-crushingly tired. I need sleep. Anna? I stand, take my plate to the sink, and scrape the contents in the trash. Anna, please. I whirl around and face him. Just stop, Christian. Just stop with the Anna, please. I shout at him, and my tears start to trickle down my face. I've had enough of all this shit today. I'm going to bed. I'm tired and emotional. Now let me be. I turn on my heel and practically run to the bedroom, taking with me the memory of his wide-eyed, shocked stare. Nice to know I can shock him, too. I strip out of my clothes in double-quick time, and after rifling through his chest of drawers, drag one of his T-shirts and head for the bathroom. I gaze at myself in the mirror, hardly recognizing the gaunt, pink-eyed, blotchy-cheeked harridan staring back at me, and it's too much. I sink to the floor and surrender to the overwhelming emotion I can no longer contain, sobbing huge, chest-wrenching sobs, finally letting go, letting my tears flow unrestrained. Okay, and that's the end of chapter 14.